You're walking through a forest, AirPods in, thinking about what's for lunch, completely harmless. And one by one, the whole place shuts down around you. The birds go silent. The entire soundtrack of the woods just cuts out, like you walked into a surprise party that got canceled. A rabbit detonates into the bushes. Off to your right, a crow starts screaming your location to the entire neighborhood. And you couldn't open a pickle jar this morning. No claws, no fangs, no venom. Your single deadliest feature is the ability to reach a high shelf.
So, why does the entire natural world treat you like a horror movie that just walked in? It's not shyness. It's a whole lot worse than that. Because to nearly every animal alive, you are not some guy on a walk. You are the most terrifying predator this planet has ever built. And the deeper you look, the worse it gets. Let's start with your face, because the fear kicks in before you even do anything. Look at where your eyes are. Front of your head, side by side, both pointed at whatever you're looking at. That is not a prey face.
Deer, rabbits, pigeons, their eyes are bolted onto the sides of their skulls so they can watch for danger in basically every direction at once. Forward-facing eyes are a predator thing. Lions have them, wolves have them, eagles have them. You have them. So when a wild animal catches you staring dead at it, it is not thinking, oh, a friendly camper. It's reading the one signal its entire nervous system is built to freak out over. Something has locked on. Add the fact that you walk upright like a slow, creeping tower of meat, and congratulations, you've tripped an alarm that was installed in that animal long before it was born. And that alarm goes off embarrassingly early. Biologists actually measure this. It's called flight initiation distance, which is a fancy term for how close can you get before the animal nopes out of there. They measured it across hundreds of species, and the results are honestly a little insulting. Animals let real predators get closer than they let us. A bird will tolerate a hawk cruising overhead longer than it'll tolerate you walking under the tree. The personal space the wild keeps from you is bigger than the personal space it keeps from the things that literally want to eat it. You're the one creature it wants maximum distance from. And it decides that in the first second, before you've done a single thing wrong. Rude. Also, as we're about to find out, completely fair. Because here's where the joke stops being a joke. The animals aren't being paranoid. They're being correct. In 2015, a scientist named Chris Darremont led a study comparing how humans hunt versus every other predator on the planet. And we didn't just win, we embarrassed the competition. We kill adult, in their prime breeding prey, the strong, dangerous animals that lions and wolves usually leave alone, at up to 14 times the rate of any other hunter. We hunt the hunters. We take out the apex predators for sport. Scientists gave us a title, and it's genuinely chilling for how plain it is. The super predator. Not one of the scary animals, the scariest one. The all-time undefeated heavyweight champion of killing things. And nature figured that out the hard way. Okay, but it gets weirder. The fear runs deeper than the human has a weapon. Researchers set up hidden speakers across the African savanna and played different sounds to see who would run. Some speakers played lion roars, the literal king of the savanna. Others played something apparently much scarier. People. Just talking. Calm, chill, having a conversation, talking. And the food chain flipped. Animals were about twice as likely to bolt, and ran faster and farther, from the sound of human voices than from lions. Giraffes, leopards, warthogs, even elephants. And the detail that genuinely gets me, the lions themselves dropped their food and ran when they heard us chatting. The most feared predator on the entire continent heard two humans having a conversation and went, nope. Sit with that. We scare the thing that scares everything else.
And if an animal can't outrun you, it does something quieter and honestly kind of heartbreaking. It just starts avoiding the daytime entirely. In 2018, scientists pooled data on dozens of mammal species across 6 continents and found the same pattern everywhere humans show up. Animals that used to be active during the day are going nocturnal. Not because they love the night, because the night is the one shift we don't work. Deer, boars, coyotes, even tigers, quietly rescheduling their whole lives around the hours we're asleep. We didn't have to hunt them into the dark. We just had to be around. An entire planet's worth of wildlife is now sneaking around after curfew to avoid a species that thought it was just going for a nice walk. And this is the part that should make you feel weirdly powerful and a little guilty at the same time. Ecologists call it the landscape of fear. Prey animals don't just react when they actually get attacked. They reorganize their entire existence around the possibility of it. Where they eat, when they move, where they raise their kids, all bent around not bumping into the scary thing. And the scary thing the whole planet is now bending around? Not lions, not wolves, you. In one experiment in California, researchers just played recordings of people talking on a hillside. The mountain lions started skipping meals and only sneaking around in the dark. The smaller predators under them got nervous too, and so on, all the way down. No traps, no guns, just the sound of humans chatting, and the ripple went straight down the food web. Your mere presence is basically a horror movie soundtrack for everything that lives outside. Now, right about here, your brain probably went, hold on. Your dog doesn't run from you. Your cat sleeps on your face. Cows just stand there, unbothered. So clearly it's not all animals, right? Correct. And that exception is the smoking gun. The animals that aren't scared of us are the tiny handful we spent thousands of years literally rebuilding. There's this famous Soviet experiment where scientists bred wild foxes for one single trait, being chill around humans. And within just a few generations, the foxes didn't only get friendlier. Their stress hormones dropped, their bodies changed, and they started trotting up to people like puppies. That is how much work it takes to switch the fear off. Everything we didn't personally redesign over millennia still sees the original terrifying us. Your golden retriever is a glitch. The rest of the planet is running on default settings, and the default is run. And if you still don't buy that the fear is learned, there's a place that proves it, where nobody ever taught it. On remote islands that never had big predators, think the Galapagos, bits of the far south, animals will just let you stroll right up. Birds land on your hand. Sea lions can't be bothered to lift their heads. When Darwin showed up, he said he could practically pick the birds off the branches like fruit. They weren't brave. They just had no idea what you were. Nothing in their history ever taught them that the tall, two-legged thing is bad news. Which means the absolute terror back on the mainland was never about your shape or some instinct every animal is simply born with. It's a lesson. One the entire rest of the world got taught over and over the hard way. And those islands are the eerie little pockets where class never started. Because that's the part that's genuinely kind of sad. The fear isn't some ancient leftover slowly fading away. It gets relearned every single generation. The animals that survive mating you teach their kids to be careful. The ones that didn't take you seriously enough mostly aren't around to have kids. So the fear gets sharper, not weaker. The deer alive today are the great-great-grandkids of the deer that ran soonest. You are, in a very real and ongoing way, breeding the natural world to be afraid of you, just by being the one thing it can't afford to misread. That panic in the squirrel's eyes, not a glitch from the past, freshly downloaded, and completely accurate. So, why are animals scared of humans? Not because they're nervous little cowards, and not because they've got you all wrong. They're scared because they've got you exactly right. They read the predator in your face, inherited the family memory of what your species does, and live inside a world that's been quietly rearranged down to its darkest hours and its quietest tide pools around the danger of you. You walk through nature feeling small, soft, out of place, a little embarrassed about the granola bar. That is not how nature sees you. To the deer, the bird, the lion in the grass, you are not small. You're the top of every food chain you've ever wandered into. The shadow the whole living world learned to watch for.
So next time something wild takes one look at you and sprints in the opposite direction, don't take it personally. Take it as a compliment. That's not a stranger running away. That's the same forest from the very first second of this video finally showing you what it's been seeing the whole time. The most dangerous animal that has ever lived. And yeah, that animal is you.